I think his fit is better with Jimmy Butler and Steph healthy, right? If you watch him, his basketball IQ is ridiculous. The things that he does mentally, the way he sees games, plays 3 steps ahead. To me, it's better when he's playing with elite guys.
What are you hearing about Steph Curry? What are you hearing about how bad it is or when he might be back and all that stuff?
Well, I heard around All-Star Weekend he had a setback. He was trying to work out, trying to get back, and it pushed him back. I'm not sure when he'll be back, but I do know that he wants to come back. As, you know, Diz mentioned, like, hey, this team's kind of in a no man's land, right? They're probably too bad for a playoff lock, top 6 spot, right? But they're too good to not be in the play-in. So Steph expects to play in the play-in. He wants to be in the play-in. He wants the chance to be in the playoffs. And he kind of sees it as, hey, you know, they were in the play-in last year, right? Won and ended up, my mind's eluding me. Did they make it or not in the play-in last year? Was it play-in?
Yes, and then they beat the Rockets in the first round in 7 games.
The Rockets. It's all flowing together. They beat the Rockets, so I think he sees it as, hey, we made it to the playoffs last time this way. We could make it to the playoffs this time this way. And another thing that's important to him is he wants the young guys to get some experience. Obviously, there's no Jimmy Butler, so I think he's realistic from what I'm hearing about what the opportunity or lack thereof is. Not having back-to-backs in the postseason probably helps Porzingis, but I think Steph is, you know, if you thought the Warriors were going to try to tank in order to get what I know was going to be an extraordinary NBA draft prospect, no, and Steph very much wants to try to compete to make it to at least the first round of the playoffs.
We know there's no tank, and I don't think Joe Lacob would ever even.
He will be back. To answer your question.
Okay.
Yeah,
I can't tell you when.
Yeah,
but he will be back.
We know he'll be back, but isn't there a sense, Mark, of, you know, exactly what you described, where you're kind of landlocked at 7 or 8, you won't fall out of the play-in? Is there a sense where maybe they can be more patient because moving up to 6 is going to be really hard and getting down to 11 is impossible?
Yeah, I mean, and he's Steph Curry, and he's almost 40. So you have to be patient in that regard. Obviously, you'd rather be 7 or 8, right? Because if you're 7 or 8 and you lose one, you got at least 2 chances, 2 cracks at it. That being said, I mean, they seem to be doing okay for the most part, right? Like they're pushing through, and but I do expect him to be back in the near future. I'm not going to say it's this weekend or anything like that. And I'm sure once he's back, they'll make a push that I would hope could get them at least to the 7th spot, right? Where you got a home game and you got two shots at just making it to the playoffs. I mean, let's be real. If it's San Antonio and Oklahoma City, God bless them.
yeah.
Get that certificate of participation ready, and it will take the greatest heroics in Curry history probably to get over that mountain without Jimmy Butler. But he wants to at least give his young guys an opportunity to have some postseason games. So I know that that's really, really important to him, regardless to what the scenario is, what the outcome is, who it is. He wants to bring, which says a lot about him, that he cares about that and wants that for their growth.
This is speculation, sure, but I want to ask it. How much longer do you think he wants to play?
I know he wants to play in the 28 Olympics, or at least he's not. Let me rephrase that. He is open to playing in the 28 Olympics. He hasn't decided whether or not he wants to, but if that is something that is in consideration for him, then that means that at least through the 27-28 season, right? I would think. And he's also a guy that takes great care of his body, as you guys know. When you're a shooter, it's not like, say, a big where you're getting beat up as much. And he does get hit going to the basket, but I like his body holding up for him better than, say, I do a Kevin Durant or a Jimmy Butler. Because, and then when your jumper is just that wet, you could play longer. The question is, and I always think for these 35-plus guys, and like I talked about DeMar DeRozan on NBA Today, who's in the top 20 in scoring now, is like, do you want to be like how, like, LeBron is like not human, but what does Steph Curry want to look like at the end, right? Does he want to look like Del Curry at the end, or does he want to look like Steph Curry at the end? And that's no shade on Del. That's just, how do you want to be remembered? I remember the Washington Wizards, Michael Jordan. It's like those tapes are lost. You never see them, right? I've never talked to Steph about like how he wants to, like, at what point does he say, okay, if I look like this, I'm not going to play anymore. I remember seeing Allen Houston try to make a comeback, and he got crossed over by Ray Allen, and he's like, you know what? Front office don't sound like a bad place. Steph doesn't look like he's close to being that kind of guy. So if he's just the fact that he's considering playing in the Olympics tells me that he intends to play a couple more years.
So Mark, how's this going to go for the Warriors if indeed Jonathan does flourish, put up numbers? What happens to the Warriors in this story?
It'll be painful. I do think he's going to succeed. Because to me, also, man, it's about fit, right? You guys remember a player by the name of Harold Miner?
Yeah. Yep. Baby Jordan.
Baby J. Yep.
I thought Harold Miner could have been a very, very good player in this league, and then he went to the Miami Heat. And the Heat didn't run, and the Heat were half court at that time, and he just kind of just went by the wayside. A lot of times it's fit, and I just don't think that with Kerr's style, with the Warriors style, with, one player basically told me that if you can't have three non-shooters on the court at the same time, and his three non-shooters was Draymond, obviously Jimmy, and then Kuminga, right? So Kuminga ended up being the odd man out, and it just didn't fit here, and the Warriors, what they were trying to do, and I think he just needed to be in a place where maybe the stakes weren't as high and he could make mistakes and play free and run, and everything wasn't structured around the most iconic shooter of all time. And so it's oftentimes about fit, and I think he's a much better fit for Atlanta, and it's going to be painful for Warriors fans to watch him fit in very well.
You're mentioning fit, and Mark and I, this Mark with a K, we're talking earlier about Draymond and his fit with the modern NBA. Is that as much of a problem with Draymond Green right now than his deteriorating body? The fact that he doesn't really fit with what the Warriors are trying to do?
I don't know that I agree with that. I think his fit is better with Jimmy Butler and Steph healthy. Right? If you watch him, his basketball IQ is ridiculous. The things that he does mentally, the way he sees games, plays 3 steps ahead. To me, it's better when he's playing with elite guys. When he's playing with the Wills and the Pods and the Garys and stuff like that, I just think it doesn't flow as well. So I'm not going to say that he still can't be effective, but to me, he's best in high level situations and not in situations where, you don't have a superstar to accentuate his powers, so to speak.
Yeah, we kind of threw out earlier, maybe that back injury just flares up every time that Steph is out. And maybe that's just what they should do.
He's beat up.
Yep.
He's definitely beat up. I mean, he's certainly taking one for the franchise, guarding guys that are 50 pounds heavier than him on a nightly basis. I know it's taking its toll. I could tell he's really doing a good job of keeping his weight down. But, you put those mileages on a tire and it's like he's like a Dune buggy that's been driving through some rough terrain. It's taking its toll. And, he probably needs to save himself. Having Porzingis, having Al there do that dirty work for him, I think is necessary for the rest of his career. Or I truly believe it'll be shortened if he has to continue guarding such bigger guys as he gets older.